With more dragons bound to enter the Nexus, this one's for everyone not familiar with our lore. Dragonflights in a nutshell. As always, I'll link more detailed videos down below. There are 5 great dragonflights and 4 offspring dragonflights in World of Warcraft. The red, green, blue, bronze and black dragonflight and the chromatic, netherwing, twilight and infinite dragonflight. Each major dragonflight has an aspect or leader. They are named so because back when the world was young and a great threat was faced, 5 dragons came to the aid of the keeper Tyr. Keepers in the World of Warcraft being somewhat proxies of the Titans, which are basically gods. And when the threat was eliminated, Tyr asked, "Hey, do you want to help protect the world with us?" And the dragons were like, "Sure, yeah." And so Tyr and the other Titan Keepers bestowed upon them a portion of the Titan's true power, and each would then be tasked to protect a different aspect of the young world. Life, dreams / nature, magic, the earth, and time. So let's start with the most friendly of them. The red dragonflight. The reds are the kindest and the most helpful out of all flights. They are the guardians of life on all of Azeroth and embody hope and renewal. Their aspect is Alexstrasza the Lifebinder, Queen of the Dragons.
Yes, champion. It is the fires within that burn the brightest.
All of her mates are deceased, but KORIALSTRASZ was her favorite. Female red names typically end in Strasza and males in Z. Notable reds include Alexstrasza, the aspect of life. KERISTRASZA, taken prisoner by Malygos. Ysera created an uncorrupted black dragon egg from which spawned WRATHION. Tyrannostrasz, the first prime consort who died in a fight with DEATHWING during the Second War. KORIALSTRASZ, the second prime consort and one of the archmages of the current war, guiding and helping humans in secret, and he sacrificed himself during a Twilight Dragon assault. CAELESTRASZ, son of Alex, taken prisoner during the War of the Shifting Sands and died in the battle against Sinestra. If I had to assign the Dragonflights a Hogwarts house, I'd give the Reds the Gryffindors. Now on to the Green Dragonflight. Charged with protecting the world as it could be, a realm of beauty and nature and perfection, the Emerald Dream. The Greens embody nature and are revered by animals, night elves and druids. Their aspect was Ysera, sister of Alexstrasza, the Dreamer, and later, the Awakened.
The dream gives us shelter. The dream gives us hope. We all play a part in nature's plan.
I dream and the world trembles.
With her recent death, it's unclear if a new aspect has been elected, since the event that gives a new aspect, Titan or godlike powers, is hundreds of years away, and the aspects gave up their Titan powers during the Cataclysm, so it's unclear if there even is gonna be a new aspect. I don't even know. There are no real naming conventions for the Greens, but females typically end in A. Notable Greens are Ysera, the aspect of dreams, Alexstrasza, converted to the flame by Fandral Stackhelm and transformed into a firehawk, don't ask me how it works.
No! No! I didn't betray the Dragonflights! We were all betrayed! Ysera was lost in a dream while this whole world came undone! I serve a new master now, mortals!
Valeria, taken prisoner by the Lich King, and was the first The Healer is the Starfight in WoW. EMERISS, Lethon, Terra, and Ysondre, the Dragons of Nightmare, corrupted and trying to turn the Emerald Dream into the Emerald Nightmare.
Hope is a disease of the soul. This land shall wither and die.
I can sense the shadow on your hearts. There can be no rest for the wicked. Peace is but a fleeting dream. Let the nightmare reign!
No one resists the nightmare. Give yourself over as I did.
The Greens would probably be Hufflepuffs. I'm just saying, because they sleep like half the time. The Bronze Dragonflight. Here, there, everywhere. Timey-wimey, fiddly something, I don't watch Doctor Who. But the Bronxes are stewards of time. If there's an anomaly in the time ways, they make sure it is corrected, to preserve time as it is. They embody wisdom and patience. Their aspect is NOZDORMU, the timeless one.
Do not confine yourself to linear thinking. Time is a tangled web. Try not to dwell on all the loose ends.
He was shown his own death when he received his powers to make sure he wouldn't abuse them to stop the inevitable. As such, Bronxes know the time of his or her demise. Females usually end in me and males in mu, but there are exceptions, with the most notable being Chromie. Her name is Chronomu, and she does correct players on this.
Everyone calls me Chromie, but my real name is Chronormu. Huh? No, it is not a male name. You clearly don't understand the intricacies of dragon culture.
She is the most involved and friendliest of all Bronx dragons. ANACHRONOS, the son of NOZDORMU, helped players in the acquisition of Atiesh, Medivh's staff. Dormi, NOZDORMU's prime consort, represented him during the War of the Ancients. These guys would be Ravenclaws, definitely. The Blue Dragonflight. Magic is a wonderful thing, and it is to be shared. The Blues are the guardians of magic and are masters of the arcane. They also make sure magic is monitored for the lesser races, as it is a great responsibility to use it. They embody cunning and ambition. Their aspect was Malygos, the Spellweaver, aspect of magic.
I will teach you ignorant children just how little you know of magic. A shame that your excess courage does not compensate for your stupidity.
And after going mad, then regaining himself and deciding that mortals are at fault for everything, and starting the Nexus War, Alex sent in a group of adventurers to take care of him, and he was later replaced by Tarecgosa, one of the younger blue dragons.
Speak freely, friend. You seem troubled. The fate of the world hangs in the balance.
Males typically end in Gos, and females in Gosa. Notable blues include Malygos, aspect of magic and the leader of the Nexus War. He used to be a jolly guy. He used to be best buds with DEATHWING until he turned into DEATHWING, and then, yeah, he didn't like that. Arygos, Malygos' son and heir to the title of aspect, allied himself with DEATHWING and lost the quote-unquote election of becoming an aspect to Tarecgosa, because he was kind of arrogant and he kept screaming about how he should be aspect, how he deserves it, how his bloodline is so pure and everything. And the Blue Flight kind of didn't respond with that, and they voted with their hearts, not with their minds, and so they voted for Tarecgosa, who is one of the kindest and most caring blue members. Tarecgosa, one of the younger blue dragons, who is very much pro-mortal, and is also, probably still, I don't know, in a relationship with Jaina Proudmoore. But it's a bit unclear at the moment, seeing as Jaina rage quit the Legion expansion, so there hasn't really been any, Tarecgosa didn't ask for her, she hasn't asked for Tarecgosa, so no one knows what's going on with that. Some people are pro Jaina Tarecgosa, some people are against it, but it is canon. Tarecgosa, the princess of the Blue Flight, and the former future mate of Tarecgosa. She lost him to a girl named Anvina Teague, who, spoiler alert, was the energies of the famous Sunwell given human form by KORIALSTRASZ. And she later began a relationship, sorta kinda, with the human Jorad Mace. Tarecgosa, the adoptive sister of Tarecgosa, became the essence of the player staff Dragon Wrath.
I am with you always.
Azurgos is in love with a spirit healer and he just wants to be left alone. SINDRAGOSA, former prime consort of Malygos. During DEATHWING's betrayal at the Well of Eternity, an explosion that caused nearly all blues to shrivel up and die because their magic is such a great part of them. It hurled SINDRAGOSA all the way to what would be known as the frozen continent of Northrend, and she would then die alone, not in the hallowed Dragonblight where all dragons go to die, but in Icecrown, where she would later be resurrected by the Lich King. And as she was dying, she was crying out, "Malygos, save me!" And he never came, so she's kind of bitter about that.
You are fools to have come to this place! The icy winds of Northrend will consume your souls! Can you feel the cold hand of death upon your heart? Suffer, mortals, as your pathetic magic betrays you! Free at last.
These guys would be Ravenclaw 2.0 mixed with a bit of Slytherin. Lastly, the Black Dragonflight. Strength, cunning, ambition, tenacity, deception. The Black Dragonflight wants to be feared. Most hate all the other flights and the mortal races. They want power, chaos, and destruction. Their aspect was Deathwing, the Destroyer.
I am Deathwing, the Destroyer, the end of all things. Inevitable, indomitable, I am the Cataclysm!
Formerly Neltharion, the Earth Warder, who was corrupted by the Old Gods, an ancient evil locked beneath the Earth of Azeroth, which as the aspect of Earth he had a really strong connection to. With his corruption, the entire Black Flight fell into darkness, until Alexstrasza stole an egg and cleansed it of its corruption. The last of his kind. Or so he thought. The Black Flight now embodies death itself, as not very many are left. Males typically end in An, and females in Ia. Notable blacks include Neltharion, Deathwing, human alias Lord DAVAL PRESTOR, ONYXIA, the daughter of Deathwing, responsible for the Stormwind riots as Lady Katrana PRESTOR.
What's your problem?
And the death of Queen Tiffinrin because one of the rioters threw a rock and it hit her in the head and she basically died from that. It caused Varian to go into a depression, which made him susceptible to her magic, so she split his identity, turning him into a weak Varian she could control, and a strong Varian she sent off to be shipped away to be held prisoner, so he couldn't meddle with her plans.
Hi there. Have you heard any news of my father?
Nefarian, son of Deathwing, created the Chromatic Dragonflight and ruled as Lord Victor Nefarious.
Well done, my minions. The mortal's courage begins to wane. Now, let's see how they contend with the true Lord of Blackrock's Spire.
Cynthia, Sinestra, former consort of Deathwing, created the Twilight Dragonflight.
I tire of this!
Do you see this clutch amidst which you stand? I have nurtured the spark within them, but that life force is and always will be mine! Behold! Power beyond your comprehension!
Wrathion, the uncorrupted, albeit arrogant, offspring of Deathwing.
To my knowledge, I am the only Black Dragon who remains. Did you hear what happened to the rest of the Black Dragonflight? I had them killed. All of them. And they were family. You do not want to make it onto my list. Don't look so surprised. We dragons are conscious even within our shells. As I grew, I could hear the plotting and scheming. The treacherous Red Dragonflight. I was to be born a prisoner. But I'm one of a kind. A black dragon raised free from the taint of my father's corruption. And that's how I intend to stay. Free. I will never be controlled! The Red Dragonflight has no idea what they unleashed when they experimented on my egg. I hope now you see the truth about them.
And then Ebonhorn, an uncorrupted black whelpling who allied himself with the High Mountain Tauren long ago for sparing his life.
There is more than one way to deal with corruption. Not all of these eggs shall survive, but those that do should be free of Deathwing's corruption. Look, One survived. Such a small thing. And with little black horns, I shall call you Ebonhorn.
Mela, I am still the same Spirit Walker you have known your entire life. Know that regardless of what happens, I serve the High Chieftain.
They'd be totally Slytherins. All the way. All they do is just take on mortal disguises and mess with humans. The rest are off-flights which are relatively new and you don't see them around too much. The Chromatic Dragonflight was created by NEFARIAN in an attempt to combine all the powers of the Dragonflights into one. Most were horrible abominations that didn't live very long. The Netherwing Dragonflight was created by DEATHWING, who took eggs he stole through the dark portal to the shattered world of the orcs known as Outland, and they became infused with nether energies. The Twilight Dragonflight was created by Sinestra, who kept feeding magical energies into eggs and making the hatchlings feed on the energies of captive Netherwing drakes. Thus they became a more vampiric and ethereal kind of dragon. The Infinite Dragonflight was created by a tortured future NOZDORMU, who in a moment of weakness gave in to the whispers of the old gods, just as DEATHWING did, and tried to stop his own death. It changed the timeline so drastically that an alter ego was created, Murasond, and corrupted bronze drakes become members of the Infinite Flight, trying to destroy the Timeways as they are. And that's basically all the current Dragonflights in a nutshell. So if you want to know more, I'll put links down below. And I hope you have fun playing future editions, whatever they might be, whatever flight they might be. And I'll see you in the Nexus.